It is Women's History Month, which means we have an excuse to read some cool books on women in history. And I have 6 plus a bonus book just for you guys today. I'm Jacqueline. This is Homeschool Hangout.xyz. And let's get into it. Like, subscribe, all the things. But let's get into it. I want to talk about books. Start with, it is Women's History Month. What does that mean? Why am I talking about it? I like studying things, and if you can give me a theme, I will totally run with it. So let's run. And in running, we're going to start with traveling shoes. This is a great picture book for younger kids. It's by Alice Faye Duncan and illustrated by Keith Millett. And it is the story of Wiley White, who was a long jump Olympian and just champion. And she's from Mississippi. And she overcame quite a bit in her life to get to where she ended up. And it's a beautiful book, great illustrations, fun read, and I highly recommend it. And I think it brings insight. It kind of helps, all these stories helps encourage us to be more than we think we can be, because I am sure that little girl did not think that she would end up an Olympian. I'm sure she did when she was probably still fairly young, but I wouldn't have started out that way. Coretta's Journey by Alice Faye Duncan again, and this is of course the life and times of Coretta Scott King. And to me, one of the things I like about these types of books is people study Martin Luther King Jr. a lot, and it's only when I was in school we never really talked about his wife other than the fact he had one and her name was Coretta. I like this because all the people in these movements, all these people in history contributed to what it is. And I feel it's important to study more than the person on the top line, And so this goes through, once again, a gorgeously illustrated book talking about her life, what she went through. What does it say? One of the tags on the back should be read by any young person who wants to understand Coretta Scott King's essential contribution to her husband's extraordinary life and enduring legacy. Her courage and dedication were evident both before and after she met Martin. She chose to be a wife and mother, but was always Coretta. So I think, and I got to be honest, as a mom, as a wife, I really like this type of stuff too. And in that vein, tough mothers. We all have children who are moms. Clearly, that's kind of what the name means. But sometimes we have other things in our lives too. We are something more, something beyond. And I think this, frankly, gives an opportunity to look into that. Looks into awesome women everywhere, but it's also kind of nice to see more. So this is Tough Mothers, Amazing Stories of History's Mightiest Matriarchs, and it is by Jason Parath, from the author of Rejected Princesses, which I also really want to check out. And it's all different types of people. Bella, I'm going to kill this, Abzug. I'm trying to remember. I looked at these at different points. She was very politically involved in the time of Nixon, Vietnam, all of that. We've got some of these that, let's see. I do like Madam C.J. Walker, Sarah Breedlove, the mother who made her own fortune. There is a thing on Netflix about her that is not child-friendly, if I remember correctly, at all. But she's child of an ex-slave. She had, her husband died, I believe. But she started this huge organization that, if I remember correctly, was like hair products. I'm looking here. Her first year in business, she made $3,600, which doesn't sound a lot to us now, but it's probably more than she had made in her life up to that point. She created this industry and this empire, and then she kind of rolled it over and did more. She helped fund things like the Tuskegee Institute, or it was another Tuskegee Institute, but in Africa. I want to say she was involved in the NAACP, but I'm not 100% in that. Yeah. Beyond bankrolling organizations like the NAACP. So she took it and went on to other societal impacts. Of course, Masoka Hoju, the mom who became shogun. there were not a lot of female shoguns, in case you were wondering. This is a great read aloud book for younger kids, or I would honestly, one of the things I do like is it is rated. You have like maturity ratings here and a breakdown on the front of what those mean. You have some violence warnings, things like that. So while every story may not be appropriate for every kid, you do get, I believe there's 50 women in history. And you do get, the woman who invented rice-a-roni. Her story was a little rough. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And it doesn't get into any graphic details, but it does mention it. And like I said, it doesn't get into anything graphic. I mean, it's 2 1/4 pages or 2 1/3 pages. But I'm just trying to figure out the best way to say this. It's good to know and forewarn. So, like for me, my kids probably from the age of like 12 or 13, I'd let read any of this. But they are small, digestible, great stories, moms all around the world and history. Another book for younger kids. My 20-year-old actually, when I said I was doing a roundup of some books that I found interesting, she brought this one into me, and it's on Florence Young. She was a missionary in Australia and New Zealand. I believe I have, 1856 to 1940. Nerd Pie really enjoyed this. It's by Janet and Jeff Benj. We're going to go with Benj. And it is from YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. And they have a bunch of biographies on different people. It's an easy, entertaining, novelesque read, but it is true. And she really liked this. It was given to her for a Christmas or a birthday present when she was a kid. And she still keeps it in her room. And she brought it out saying, I need to mention it. So definitely I would say, as soon as your kids can handle like small chapter books, this would be good. Remember, you are going to have to discuss these things with your kids often. They did have because when you're a missionary and you're going into different communities, you're going to deal with communities who have some different behaviors than you might endorse, including revenge killings and cannibalism. So just be prepared. It doesn't get into anything graphic, but you might need to discuss it. Okay, the next one is not a history book, but my daughter swore that I needed to mention it. So this is my bonus book, and it is the Daring Book for Girls. We also have the Daring Book for Boys in our house, and all the children read both of them. We did not keep them gender specific, but it's Things to Do. It's by Andrea J. Buchanan, and Miriam Peshkowitz. And it's fun. It talks about everything from how to do sleepovers to making your own zip line to making a lemonade stand with a recipe for your lemonade and lemonade candy straw treats that you can make. To make this old-fashioned treat, push a lemon candy stick that are hollow inside a lemon that's been cut in half, Yes. And so, it's a cute, fun book full of activities and ideas. And so, like I said, it's not a history book, but my daughter's like, if you're doing a book on girls and women, Mom, you need to include this. So that's from Nerd Pie for you guys. The next one, let's go with this one next, is The Book of Awesome Women. Boundary Breakers, Freedom Fighters, Sheroes, and Female Firsts. So this is by Becca Anderson. And I thought it was really kind of cool. It's got women from all different times of history and areas. So it does have a mention of Ada Lovelace. It does, who is considered the first programmer. She's the daughter of Lord Byron. And Charles Babbage made a computing machine. And she kind of figured out the best way and the way to make it work. Did computations, if I remember correctly. You're going to get into women like, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Feminist Foremothers was called. They fought to get us the vote. You're going to you have women like Sally Ride, who was the first American female astronaut. Not the first female astronaut, the first American, because Russia, I believe, actually beat us to it. You even have Queen Latifah, and you've got awesome artists. And these are pretty short and easy to read. So if you feel that this book is too daunting for handing to a junior high or high school student, you could read them out loud to younger kids. You could assign them, give me 5 women and 3 facts on each woman. Do it however you want. I'm looking at the back. I've got to sit down and read this again. Yes, Annie Easley, who helped write the computer code that for NASA that got people to the moon. These are the ones that always get me. Have you heard that one of the reasons that the Allies won World War II was a secret crew of Russian women pilots who risked their lives every evening fighting Nazis in planes made of wood? There was a lot of interesting stuff that happened in that. And yeah, I love this book. It is got a lot of people in it. Let's see if there's a breakdown of how many. And you're going to have, Billie Jean King, which I remember learning a lot about when I was a kid. Oh, let's see. So many good ones. It's even going to talk about like Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan, because you have to, talk about those. Betty Friedan, I just find it so interesting how she went from being a housewife to what Betty Friedan is now. She was NOW's first president. I don't know if she actually established NOW or just their first president. National Organization of Women, which I'm going to be honest, full open, I'm not a NOW person. I am not an endorser of the National Organization of Women, but finding how people made these trajectories, I find really, really interesting. So yeah, and then the last one, this is a fun, I'm going to say almost like soapy read. It's not like horrible or anything like that. I don't mean soapy like dirty or anything, but it's Women of Means, fascinating biographies of royals, heiresses, eccentricities, and other poor little rich girls. And it's by Marlene Wagman Geller. And it goes through and talks about a lot of heiresses and different people. I don't know how else to say that. I'm looking in it. I mean, it talks about, yes, Gloria Vanderbilt, who is the iconic poor little rich girl. It even talks about, and I had forgotten about this because I'd heard this decades ago, possibly. If you've looked at the Gloria Vanderbilt jeans logo, it's a swan. And it's because she's one of Truman Capote's swans from the time period. And right now, for those who don't watch TV, I have not watched any of it yet, but Feud, that is on FX, it's all about Truman Capote and how he wrote about and what is the word I'm looking for? He basically wrote all their gossip that they told him, and then he turned around and told the world about it. And she was in that group. So yes, this goes through though a lot. Oh, I'm trying to figure out. I haven't looked through this in a while. Christina Onassis, who is Ari Onassis' daughter, I believe. I say that, I know she is. Let's see who else we've got. Oh, is this a House of Gucci? Oh, yes, the Gucci issues and that family. So these are like not the same type of women who made these huge differences. But just like today, we're following, Prince Harry and Meghan. This is interesting. And these are renowned women who did affect things one way or another, who were societally impactful, who did a lot. And, the Gilded Age, Downton Abbey, all of those things are rooted in this type of history. And I say that literally, like Downton Abbey, you had an American princess, family had money, went overseas to marry for title. Now they happen to fall in love in Downton Abbey, it's all fiction. But the Gilded Age, which that's on Paramount Plus, is thought to be about the Vanderbilts and some of that New York society. So, it's kind of interesting. I believe we're going to talk about Barbara Woolworth. Is Barbara Woolworth in here? Or is that Barbara Hutton? Oh, I see Barbara Hutton in here too. But she was part of that Woolworth thing, if I remember correctly. Because I I can never remember if her name was Hutton or Woolworth. Yeah, she's the granddaughter of Franklin Winfield Woolworth. So yeah, it's an interesting, fun book. If you've got kids who are reading YA fiction, if you've got kids in that junior high and up, this will be an interesting read to them. So there's a smattering of books of all different age groups and sensibilities that are easy reads, that are fun and entertaining, and not I have to go read a history book slog. Let me know if you check out any of these. I hope you like them, and happy Women's History Month. Talk to you guys later. Bye.